Alright, for today's video, I'm thinking 5 simple camp knots that you need to know. Now, in my opinion, over the years, I've come to the conclusion that there's 2 parts to this. Being able to tie the knot, and then actually being able to use the knot. Okay, you can tie it up all day. There's plenty of apps and websites you can go to where it actually gives you knot tutorials and it shows it being tied. But it's worthless unless you can actually use that knot in an actual application. Let's say, for example, a bowline. You can tie a bowline at the end of a line, gives you an end of a line loop, and you're like, yay, I did it. Well, now what? Well, there's plenty of applications for that, and that's where the important part comes into play. You can tie knots all day, but if you don't know how to use them, they're worthless. So on that note, let's get to it. Now, this first knot is one of my personal favorites, and I've used it in my videos over the past 4 years, creating shelters over and over and over and over and over again. It's called an arbor knot. Sometimes it's confused with a Canadian jam knot. Those are 2 separate things, and maybe in a future video we'll talk about that. An arbor knot is a simple jamming knot, where once you ratchet it down, it becomes the ultimate bushcraft zip tie. It's locked in place, and it will join 2 pieces of wood, 2 poles. It creates stretcher beds. It will lash something together, pack frames, things like that. And once it's locked down, it's not going to come off. And like we said, once you ratchet it down, it's locked in place. It becomes your bushcraft zip tie, and it's not going anywhere. Now, this is all fine and dandy. We created our knot, and we simply slid it over top of the limb or the stick. What if you can't do that, or that option is not available to you, and you're forced to actually tie it around something? This next one here, we're going to take a piece of cordage, and we're going to create a loop using a square knot. It's simply right over left, then left over right, or left over right, right over left. And now for everyone's favorite, the hardest, easiest knot you'll ever tie in your life. It's called a bowline. Most of the time it's tied at the end of a line. It gives you a loop, and the benefit of that loop is once it's under tension, it will not tighten down on itself. Now, just like our arbor knot, tying a bowline using one of those two methods, you can do that all day. But again, like our arbor knot, unless you can tie it around a fixed object, in my opinion, it's almost worthless. Fixed object, long end, short end. Going to make a loop, place it behind, pull it through. Take the short end, go around, through and pinch, pull the long end. Now, I showed this next knot recently in a camp hack video, but it's very important in the application of knots. And that's how to join two pieces of rope or cordage of the same diameter. And we're going to do that by using a fisherman's knot. So joining two pieces of rope of equal diameter is always optimum and should be your first choice. But what happens when you have two pieces of rope or cordage of unequal diameter? That's where a sheet bend comes into play. We're then going to take that sheet bend, we're going to double wrap it and create a double sheet bend for added security. So you can dress this thing up and make it look more presentable by turning it into a double sheet bend by simply taking this piece, wrapping it around, placing it through. Now, truth be told, I prefer the double sheet bend simply because there's an added safety feature by wrapping it twice, and ultimately it looks more presentable. But it boils down to intent. Do I intend on extending a piece of cordage for a ridgeline and for a tarp that weighs ounces? Or am I splicing two ropes together of unequal diameter because I need to rappel down a cliff? Take it for what it's worth. But everything boils down to intent. That and keep it simple, stupid. On that note, all the gear in my videos can be found in two places. One, my Amazon affiliate page, and two, my Etsy store. Both links are found inside my description box. Now please do me that favor. Hit that like and subscribe button, then ring that notification bell. Once you ring that bell, please select all notifications. And as always, thank you for your comments, views, and support. Thanks for watching. Get out in the field, have some fun. I'm going to catch you next time.